Okay, good afternoon. We are here with Mr. Lucius Gantt. He's a nationally known journalist who's been uh, doing journalism for a long, long time. And we have Mr. Gantt on the phone with us right now. Good evening, Mr. Gantt. How are you?
Good evening.
Well, thank you. Want to thank you first of all for stopping by the Adams Brothers podcast and taking the time out of your schedule to talk with us. We want to just ask you a few questions here, and why don't we just start out by just kind of like introduce yourself just a little bit and just tell us some of the uh, things that you've done in your journalist career.
Okay. Uh, First of all, the highlight of my career is being on the radio show with Wayne Fields and his brother. But other than that, the low lights or the other lights have been, I started my journalism career in 1968 at WSB Television in Atlanta, where I was a TV writer, worked in the production department and worked in the promotion department at WSP. Uh, of course, I was a young man at that time, a teenager really. I started my career when I was 17 years old, and I had applied to go to Morehouse. They wouldn't accept me. I wouldn't give me any money. I guess I could be accepted, but I didn't have any money, so I couldn't go to Morehouse. So I decided not to go to college. When I got to WSP, the people recognized my writing skills, and they say, "Well, you going to college?" I said, "No, nobody in my family went to college. I was making money, hustling, and doing stuff that young black people from the ghetto would do." And the guy said, a guy named Jim Gilchrist, who was a news reporter at WSP, basically said, if I fill out the paperwork for you to go to Georgia State, if you get accepted, will you go? I said, "Yeah, sure." Fill it out. I was accepted, and that's how I ended up at Georgia State. I worked at WSP all my way through college, and I also worked at the campus newspaper and at the campus radio station. All the while, I was either working at WSP or covering sports for Atlanta Journal. At that time, it was Atlanta Journal and Constitution. It's just called AJC and Atlanta Journal now. Uh, After graduation, I received a fellowship to attend the Washington Journalism Center in Washington, D.C. That's kind of momentous because I was taught by John Chancellor, who used to be at NBC, Patrick Buchanan, who worked in Nixon, and some other people. And one of my mentors became Rich Adams, who was the news director of a black guy who's the news director. I emphasize that because the young people, they love your niece and Alexander and all those kind of people that are just reporters. But Rich Adams gave me a job, and as a still a teenager, I covered the White House, not the White House. I covered Congress, and one of the documentaries I did on NPR was aired on 77 stations in the United States about the soul of black music, which was gospel influence on R&B and other kind of genres. Uh, it was, I was doing a lot of the stuff that young journalists are doing back in the 70s, and so it's 2020 now, and I think that young people, younger than myself, like you guys, should recognize and respect the people that came before them that paved the way for them. But anyway, after graduating from the Washington Journalism Center and working at NPR, I was offered a job at Associated Press in New York as a sports writer. I covered the Yankees and Mets. I covered boxing. I covered football. I was the first reporter, black, to cover everything. And before me, they had some people cover football or somebody covered basketball. or something like that. But I covered tennis. I was assigned to cover golf and was refused at the Masters. I didn't care. I didn't know anything about golf at that time. I play golf now, but I put myself in the category of one of the first journals to work for major news organizations on a nationwide and an international basis. I stayed in New York maybe almost 2 years, and then I was transferred to Atlanta to cover the situation with Hank Aaron chasing Babe Ruth home run record. One of the only interviews that Hank Aaron did, a single interview, was with me, because at that time he was only doing press conferences with 100 reporters there trying to ask questions. But I had a one-on-one interview with Hank Aaron that aired on CBS. It was supposed to have been this black guy, Haywood Hill Broom. He got snowed in. CBS called AB and asked could they video the interview with myself and Hank Aaron, and it's part of it aired on CBS. After working, for Associated Press in Atlanta and covering sports and news, I decided I wanted to be a reporter, and that's how management and media management, and that's how I ended up in Florida. I took a job as news and public affairs director at a station in Tallahassee, and I stayed in Tallahassee, and I got fired from the radio station, sued them, won the lawsuit, and they brought me back, and started a TV show called Vibrations that lasted 15 years in Tallahassee. It was one of the highest rated public affairs television shows in the nation. We rated higher than Tony Brown's Journal and Black Enterprise and some of the stuff that was on many years ago, and I was proud of that. The local TV show usually don't last 15 years. I don't know if it was a local public affairs show at Gainesville that's been on for 15 years. But in 1980, I left the place in Tallahassee to start my own business called All World Consulting. And from there, I was a lobbyist in the state of Florida for probably 20 years, and representing Florida Medical Association, Florida Legal Hospitals, Florida Consortium of Urban Leagues, Florida SCLC, and a bunch of other people. And I started doing a Republican, John LeCapra, from South Florida, said I should do the Gantt report. And the Gantt report has been around probably since 1980, and it's lasted for 4 years, and it's won a lot of accolades that nobody knows about because I never talked about them. But the excerpts from the Gantt report are on display in the National Freedom Museum. I won Ohio State Award in competition with NBC, CBS, ABC, and all of them for a documentary production about institutionalization of the elderly. And I've had some pretty big political clients. I represented 2 or 3 speakers of the Florida House, 2 or 3 Senate presidents. I worked for U.S. senators. I worked for Republicans. I worked for Democrats. Because to me, they all the same. Ain't no difference between them except the name. So I've had a pretty good career. And around the end of my time in Florida, I was in a catastrophic automobile accident where I sustained a brain injury. And so from about 2000 to 2003, I never did anything. I focused on my rehabilitation. at the time of the accident, I couldn't walk, couldn't talk, all that kind of stuff. But I took every kind of therapy it was, speech therapy, physical therapy, occupational therapy, and worked my way out of it. Now I'm on the show talking to Dwayne and his brother, so so here I am.
Hey man, that's a blessing.
Well, I'm always thankful. People ask me how I'm doing, I don't say okay. I say I'm always thankful, and God has more in His plans. So, eventually, where I am right now, brothers, I eventually started a company called All World Financial Group. I still do the Gantt report. I still do advertising. I still work with politicians. But God blessed me with opportunity to really learn about money and how that impacts the world and how we've been being ripped off by what I call beast bankers and so now, I take billionaires and clients and I make them more billions. So that's a good thing to know. And that same knowledge that I have in terms of how money works, I would love to be on a radio show. Line them up. All of them, everybody knows something about money. Boyce Watkins, Claude Anderson, and all of them who I know. Line them up and let's see who knows about how black people should generate revenue and how they can finance black progress. It ain't by marching. It ain't by praying. It ain't by singing. We have to have money and land. And I know how to get that. But when the University of Florida and when other places in Florida around the country, when they started having Black History Month speakers, they never asked Lucius to come. Primarily not because they don't like Lucius. They can't control what I say. I love Wayne, but Wayne can't control what I say. That's why I imagine, they don't want me to speak. I would come for free. I'm not going to spend any money to come, but University of Florida ain't got to pay me. Bethune-Cookman don't have to pay me. Florida A&M ain't got to pay me to speak. I got a little contract with Florida A&M where I'm doing some work for the marijuana program, which I'm going to try to clue you guys in on. But, I'm thankful that you give me the opportunity to put that out there on the line. But I'm just a journalist. I work hard. I'm not the best journalist. I don't look at myself as that, but I do think I'm the most versatile journalist. Since I've won the advertising award, public relations awards, I've won radio awards, and I've won TV awards. And there's not too many people that can do that or say that.
Well, absolutely. You've definitely put out some good reading material over the years, and I've followed you and I've read a lot of your stuff, Mr. Gantt, and I really can appreciate what you've done in the journalism world.
Well, the young people should know that like I say, I don't want anybody to be like me. I want to be better than me. But it's hard work, and I try to tell young journalists, you have to know how to write. Everything starts with writing. Even this interview here, you had to write something. You had to get me to come on.
Absolutely, that's right.
And so the young people, they don't really have the skill that's necessary. And I'll give you an example using you. If a junior or a senior from the University of Florida comes to the Adamsbrotherspodcast and say, I want to do an internship, they can't do anything. They don't know how to write a script. They don't know how to do an interview. They don't know how to do the technical things you have to know how to do to run a radio podcast. Then they'll say, Wayne, I wanna do an internship, but I want you to pay me. Why would Wayne Bill pay somebody that can't do anything? When it's plenty retired journalists, young people that worked in a media company that come in and do the same thing that for the pay that the students want you to come in and pay them for free. And my advice to the young people, don't wait till you get to be a junior senior. Look for you a media job when you're a freshman. And by the time you get to be a junior or senior and you come to Wayne Fields, you say, well, I got 3 or 4 years experience. And then that way they can get paid.
Mr. Gans, I wanted to ask you a question here. You were quoted in one of your columns that's saying that Black people are hurt most by the ones they love. Could you elaborate a little bit further on that right there?
Yes. You know, don't take my word for it. Read your history. Malcolm X told people, Black people 20, 30, 40 years ago, you've been led astray. You've been misled. You've been bamboozled. You've been jacked. You've been all that. Everything you could be, we've been. Everybody, nobody's been played more than African Americans. We've been played since they brought us over here on the ship. And so we can't figure out a way to take care of ourselves without depending on government, without depending on charity, without depending on Democratic Party, Republican Party, all these politicians that giving you false promises and wishful thinking. Then we're always going to end up in the same place. I'm not against Al Sharpton and Martin Luther King Jr. and everybody else that like to march. Good luck with that. I'm not on this podcast to tell them they should march. I'm on this podcast and it ain't gonna work. Let's have a law about police brutality. Let's pass something. Nah, it ain't gonna work. The law enforcement community is permeated with closet Klansmen, neo-Nazis, skinheads, Boogaloo brothers, 3%ers, all these kind of people. It's permeated with them. I mean, it's very easy for them to hire a Ku Klux Klansman, but it's very difficult to hire somebody from the Nation of Islam or the New Black Panther Party, or even they don't even want to hire nobody that drags the Gantt report. They know more about the people they're dealing with. Take Trump, take Biden. They know who they got hired. They know who they're hiring. Don't act like they don't know who these people are. They have extensive background checks. They know these people, and they know these people not going to do anything for the masses of Black people. These people want a job. I don't want a job. Wayne don't want a job. I mean, we out here trying to make money. We out here trying to be entrepreneurs. Why do all the Black heroes have to have a job with some politician or something? To me, that's crazy. And I always say, don't take my word for it, line them up. Line all the politicians up and let them tell you how they're going to make, they're going to make healthcare better, they're going to make, the economy better and all that. And then talk to me, and I'm gonna explain why they lie. We got to go back, Wayne, to go forward. When I say we got to go back, when you were young, Gainesville had more Black businesses than they got now. Who you talking to? And I don't hang out in Gainesville. I've been there, obviously, but they had more Black businesses than they got now. They had Black hotels in Atlanta. I can't speak for Gainesville when I was young. They had Black hotels. They had Black insurance companies. They had Black, grocery stores. They had Black people that sell cars. They had Black real estate. They had Black farms. They had all this stuff. Where are they now? The people you love told you it's best integrated. Now don't act like this is a 2020 thing. It was a disagreement between W.E. Du Bois and Booker T. Washington. Back in the day, they probably got along each other, but they had different views. These people want to tell you if you don't agree with everything Al Sharpton said, And I like hair shops. And, you know, we done some work together. But if you don't believe in that, they don't want to have nothing to do with it. They do not want you to have wealth. These people that they're telling you they're wealthy, they ain't wealthy. None of the people you know can hire All World Financial Group to do what they call a financial trade. A financial trade, you have to have cash. If you're doing $1 billion trade, you got to have $1 billion in cash. Even the ones they tell you they're billionaires, they ain't got $1 billion in cash. They got $1 billion in assets. That's different than $1 billion in cash. You may have a TV show, or you may have a $1 million house, or a Bugatti, or this and that. But you ain't got no money. You got a lot of liability. To do a financial trade, you gotta have $1 billion in cash. Ain't too many black people can do that. It's some, but the ones you know, if you say Jay-Z can do it, you're wrong. If you say Oprah can do it, you're wrong. If you say Robert Smith, I don't know. Maybe his company can, but personally he can't. And so it's just there's that kind of money out there for black people, but they don't want you to know that. Let me give you one more example before I let you in. I don't know what bank you use or whatever. Bank of America, Wells Fargo, I don't care which one you use. You put $1 million in a savings account and they're going to pay you 1% interest. If you do a financial trade and you put $1 billion up on that financial trade, you're going to make 100% interest a month. That means that if you put $1 billion up on September the 1st, on October the 1st, you have $2 billion. Now, why black people don't know nothing about that? You go to your bank and you tell them, Lucius Gantt was on my podcast and say, hey, y'all paying people 100% interest. Why you paying me 1%? They're going to say Wayne and Wayne's brother. What's your name, Wayne's brother? Wayne is his brother.
Yeah.
Say Lucius Gantt. They say Lucius Gantt crazy. But like I say, line them up, and I tell them how they're crazy. They are crazy if they thinking that, because it's on the internet that you're a billionaire. That's what it is. They're not billionaires. They got $1 billion in assets. They probably can't put their hand on 100, 200, 300. It's all tied up in the trinkets. Diamonds, $100,000 baby carriage, $1 million car, $1 million condo. They ain't got no money. Now, somebody like Lucius can live in the ghetto because I don't want nobody to know if I got money or not. If I did, they kidnap my children. They kidnap Wayne. They say, Wayne, they say, Lucius, we got Wayne. We need $1 million. Well, to let him go. And so I'd rather just give Wayne some money. I don't need to tell nobody how much money I got.
We're speaking
so that's what I meant. That's what I meant when I said that.
We're speaking with world-renowned journalist, Mr. Lucius Gantt. And Mr. Gantt, I want to ask you, what do you think about a lot of today's activists on the internet and on podcasts with the Don't Vote campaign? I'd like to know, how do you feel about that?
I don't agree with that. I think that your grandparents, your great-grandparents, they fought, they protested, they risked their lives, got put, dogs put on them, some of them got lynched and hung for trying to get voting rights for black people in this country. For these people to tell you not to vote, that's saying like, don't you exercise your right. I don't care who you vote for. The Gantt report, if you read the Gantt report, I don't endorse candidates. I don't care if Jesus ran, I probably wouldn't endorse him. But what I try to do is tell the truth, let the people make up their own decisions. But I think everybody should vote. And I think it's a good point this year. And I'm going to tell you why. It ain't about truth. It ain't about fact. That ain't the most important thing this election is about. If black people don't vote, 2020, and the people that's in power now stay in power, they get reelected, it's going to be terrible for black people, not in 2020, for the next 10 years. Because the people who win in 2020, they're going to design the district for the next 10 years. And so if you want more black people in office in the local level and state government and all that kind of stuff, and then in the federal government, you got to vote. Now, I encourage everybody to vote. I don't care who you vote for. I'm not going to tell you to vote for one person or the other. But if you want, your vote is not necessarily for you. It's for your children and your grandchildren so that they can have a better life, so that they can run for office. They can have a district where they can win. All this other stuff, is crazy. And some of these leaders I really respect. You know, one of my friends in the Nation of Islam told me, "Farrakhan telling people don't vote because they don't like Cuba." Well, come on. I mean, Castro gone. Castro was the one that helped out. You see what I'm saying? Castro sent troops to fight apartheid. I mean, we know about, how Cuba's contribution to black empowerment. But to say don't vote because of Cuba, that ain't a good reason not to vote. You want to vote for your children and yourself. And, when you get to Cuba, then you can vote to help Cuba. But right now in Gainesville, you can vote to try to make Gainesville better.
And Mr. Gantt, why do you think the articles you write in the Gantt report, why do you think a lot of black people are uncomfortable with pro-black articles? Why are some of us so uncomfortable with articles that are pro-black?
Because, I can answer that. They're happy with their status. They don't want nobody, black and white, to tell them that you can get a better job. You can own stuff. You can build TikTok, or you can build Microsoft or Facebook, whatever. If you don't tell black people that these are things that you can do, you can go to Stanford, or you can go to some of these schools where in Silicon Valley, where they learn how to do all this stuff. Why would we think that the president's administration at FAMU are the highest paid people in the state of Florida? That's crazy. That's crazy. And so, if all you can hope for is a $100,000 job, or a $200,000 job, or a $300,000 job, that's crazy. The big news last week was Patrick Mahomes signed what, 100 million?
Yeah.
Okay, and Deshaun Watson was 64 million? They'll never see the end of that contract, man. Come on, man. You play football. I mean, how many guys decide these things? Bobby Bonilla is the only athlete that I know that still gets paid.
He's still getting paid. I remember reading that. He's still getting paid from his Marlins 19, I think it was the Marlins, or maybe the team he played, Pirates. The Mets.
Still playing.
Yes, he's still getting paid from his 1990 something contract, I believe it is.
Who else getting paid like that? That's been out of the game 20 years, still get paid. You tell me. Who else gets paid like that? Patrick Mahomes ain't gonna get paid for the next 20 years.
No.
Now, let me go back to what I said because it's very important. Ever since slavery, black people have been what I call happy with their status. If you watch the movie Roots, Chicken Joe, when he was beating Cooler Kid, they tried to make him say his name was Toby. Chicken Joe walked up to him and said, "You're going to make me lose my wood floor." He was sleeping on the wood floor while the other blacks sleeping on the ground. And that's the way blacks are in 2020. You can't tell the people in Gainesville you can do better. You can make money. You can have businesses like the blacks in Gainesville had before immigration. You can't tell them. They're gonna get mad if you say like, "Hey, you could do better," and that's all they get. Can't afford telling people you can do better. Why be satisfied with what you got?
Daryl?
Mr. Gantz, you were also quoted as saying one of the best things that African Americans can do is come together at the ballot box. Do you believe that African Americans can come together at the ballot box at this very important upcoming election?
Well, the answer is no. I think they're gonna vote 90%, Democratic, know what? And to me, that's crazy. Not because Democrats are not better than Republicans, but you got angels in the Democratic Party, and you got devils in the Democratic Party. Now, let me explain that so you'll know. Most of the state attorneys that prosecute these cases, like George Floyd or Ahmaud Arbery or whoever, Jacob, whatever his name is.
Jacob Blake.
Yeah, all these kind of people. If you go across the country, most of the prosecutors are Democrats. Ain't everybody saying, "Oh, we don't like the prosecutors, they let the police go and all this," but they don't vote. If the prosecutor says Democrat, black people don't vote for him anyway. That's crazy. Just vote for the individual. Vote for whoever is best for you and best for your family and best for your city. Don't go to the polls every day and just say look for the one with the D behind their name, because you'll be messed up. I think that this is my plan. Let's go to Quincy. You know where Quincy, Florida is?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is North Dallas. That's a black town. Let's go there and let's take that town. Let's take these towns over one by one. We go to the counties, Gaston County or cities, but Jacksonville is a black city. Why they let Jacksonville and Duval County? You tell me. Jacksonville should be just like Atlanta. Everybody in office should be black because they outnumber the whites in Jacksonville 2 or 3 to 1. But now they say, well, let's have single member districts and let's annex Duval County, and that includes Jacksonville Beach and some of those other towns, and it decimated the black power in Jacksonville. But my plan is, let's go to these towns. I don't know the rest of them. I know Gaston County, Pensacola got a lot of blacks. It's about 30% black. Let's go to these towns. Let's start running. Let's start grooming young people to take over these offices. And then once we take over the whole town, then we can set up programs and policies, police departments, and all this other kind of stuff that you're looking for. You ain't gonna be able to. I don't care how much you protest. You ain't gonna be able to take over New York. You ain't gonna be, even though you got black people that's the mayor and this. Take Atlanta. That's where I am talking to you from. Black people, quote unquote, run Atlanta. That's crazy. Some white folks still run Atlanta. Come on, don't act like Arthur Blank, that owns Atlanta Falcons, Atlanta United. I forget the guy's name that runs Chick-fil-A. The guy that owns Waffle House. Those are people that run Atlanta. They get anything they want. You can't get it. Even though you black, you can't get anything you want in Atlanta. You got to get permission from Arthur Blank. And they don't understand how that works. So I do.
Hey, you also, in addition to that quote I just...
Wait. Just let me finish this 1 second so you'll know. If you've been to Atlanta, Atlanta was a black city. In the next 10 years, Atlanta's gonna be a white city. All the whites are moving back into downtown Atlanta. The prices have skyrocketed. It costs $1,400 to get a one-bedroom apartment in Atlanta. So it's too much. They're gonna push out the rent's gonna be so high, and you can't get a loan. The banks got all their money in, Bank of America and the rest of them. They ain't gonna loan black no money, and so you can't buy nothing. You either gotta go to the suburbs to buy you a nice house. You gotta go to Fayetteville where Rick Ross and all of them stay, or you gotta go somewhere else to buy your house. You can't buy it. And unless you're rich. If you're rich and black, you can buy it. You're an athlete, you can get a place in Buckhead. If you're a big businessman, you can get a place in Buckhead. But ordinary black can't afford to live in Atlanta. They gotta live in Stonecrest, they gotta live in Latonia, they gotta live in South Fulton, they gotta live in Forest Park, they gotta live in College Park, they gotta live in all those places. Douglasville. They can't afford to live in it. And the whole and everything's like that. Miami's like that. Everywhere's like that. I don't know about Gainesville. Gainesville should be gentrified too. I don't know. But it's just a difficult situation. The voting and vote, but let me go back to what I told you in the beginning. You got to have money and land. This is capitalist society.
Economic.
Capital is the primary motivating factor. This ain't no communist system where everybody works together and all that. This is a capitalist society.
Right.
And so if you don't know how to work money, then you got a problem. Now we can all come together and say, let me tell you what my plan is. You give me 10 people that you think rich. I don't care whether they're rappers, this and that. I say 10 rappers is supposed to be rich. If you put Jay-Z, Diddy, Kendrick Lamar, Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, Baby, from New Orleans, the Master P, and the rest of them together, I say, hey, look, all of y'all put up $10 million. The money will never leave your bank account. If the money stays in your bank, in your name, and Lucius Gantt or Wayne Fields or whoever can't touch your money, it stays in your bank account. You get a what they call an instrument from your bank. BG, SBLC, bank guarantee. I should say, in the financial world they talk in acronyms. Keep y'all from knowing what they're talking about. But if you get a bank guarantee or a standby letter of credit or something like that, I can take that instrument and turn it into cash. Okay, so you get 10 of the rappers. And it also goes for Oprah, Robert Smith, and Michael Jordan, and the rest of them that's supposed to own basketball teams, Magic Johnson, and all that. But just get 10 or whatever, go for the actors. You can go to Denzel, you can go to Viola Davis, whatever. I don't care. All of them say they rich. You get 10 rappers, put up 10 million. Okay, you get the instrument. Each one will put up 10 million. That's $100 million in the bank. And so you get a bank instrument from all of them. You have a $100 million instrument. You got to have at least $100 million in cash to do a financial trade. You do the financial trade, and you make $100 million of money. 10 months, you have $1 billion. Now, if you let that money stay in there and it keeps rolling, it ain't never left your bank now. That money keeps turning over. And then if you're making $1 billion every 10 months, then you can do some stuff. I'm talking about cash. I ain't talking about $1 billion in assets. I'm talking about $1 billion in cash. And so what's the problem? Everybody talking about, well, we need more. I'd rather make money. That's the way I help people, Wayne. Mm-hmm. I try to help, I try to get people to spend money with Wayne Fields and Charles Shear and the rest of them. Right. That's the way I help. I don't help them by saying like, pay me $10,000 to come speak at the University of Florida, and I'll make a poem, I'll crack a joke, and then I leave, and then you broke it. I say, hey, I'm gonna try to get Wayne 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 grand. That's the way I help. I don't want my talk. And that's why they don't like it. That's why the people don't, you know, the people that happy with their status, oh, you know, they call me a Negro leader. I don't care if they call me. I don't care what they call me. I tell you this, they can't find me. Right. They can't make me stop right. That's the way they deal with y'all. Oh, well, you know, I'm like, well, Wayne wrote in that gave your son, you know, let's fire him. Well, they can't fire me. Right. I can pay my bill if I don't get a dime from the devil. I ain't that much money, but I can pay my bill. Right. So.
Yeah, and in addition to that question that I asked you, Mr. Gantt.
So I ain't gonna say, hey, well, I don't know. I'm gonna answer. So ask me anything.
There you go, Daryl.
Yeah, in addition to that question, I mean, that quote I quoted earlier, you also said that black voters should stop voting for candidates just because they have black skin. If you can't support a black political agenda, a black business development, contracting opportunities, affordable health care, housing, and safer black neighborhoods, black people should not vote. Black people should not vote against you. Vote for you, no matter what color your skin is.
Well, that's easy. Ask yourself. Wayne, ask yourself. You got, I don't know how many black people running for office in Gainesville this year. You got them running for city commission. Mm-hmm. You got them running, I don't even know, but I imagine.
Yeah, we in Deerfield Beach, Florida.
I'm sorry?
We in Deerfield Beach, near Fort Lauderdale.
Okay, you're in Deerfield.
Right.
Let's use Deerfield.
Right.
Like, I don't care where you are. Let's
right.
use Deerfield. You got in Deerfield Beach, you got black people running for local office. You got them running for the state legislature. And you might have some running for Congress. Or definitely got them running for the U.S. Senate.
Yeah.
Why would you love somebody black that's running for elected office that don't love you? Okay, now how do you show beautiful love? Don't fall for the okie doke. Don't say, well, you know, I love you, Lucius. You know, so vote for me, I love you. No, that ain't gonna work for me. You show political love by who you spend money with. Now, in Deerfield Beach, that's in South Florida, right?
That's correct. 14 miles from Fort Lauderdale.
Okay, I know where it is. Yep. In Deerfield Beach, you got probably in you know, in every county that's attached to Deerfield, you got somebody that can call WMBM, which is a tourist station in Miami, or I don't know the call letters of the rest of them in Broward and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But you can call Bobby Henry at the West Side Gazette, Victor Curry at his radio station.
Right.
To buy a radio spot. Okay, where does most of the political money go? Biden got 300-400 million. Trump got they're gonna spend $1 billion before November. Where does that money go?
To the white radio station.
Okay, it's going to advertising.
Yep.
I mean, you know, Biden just made a big buy, in Florida with Grand Cherry and Bobby and Miami Times and all that. So, but okay, so what? He been spending money with like you say, the white media. You gonna find more TV advertising than you gonna find in black press.
Right.
Don't act like Biden done a great thing if you spend $1 million with black media. You spend $1 million every day with white TV. But the point I was trying to make was the black candidates. You asking me about black candidates, and the black candidates, they don't come to you. They don't come to Wayne or anybody, you know, to buy advertising. They go to the white man. If you look at all the political literature and all that, it looks the same because it's done by the same white man. And then, you know, I mean, I ain't mad, you know, people can hire who they want. They can hire Lucius, they can hire Wayne, they can hire Daryl, they can hire anybody they want. But don't tell me that you're the best candidate for me if you're taking contributions from poor people in Deerfield Beach and Belgrade and all those kind of places where black people are poor and giving it to the white man, even though you got black people there that can call the radio station and say, I'm working for the black candidate and I want to buy some spots. If you're doing $100 million in advertising and you're the advertising agency and you just get 10% of a commission, not 15%. The more money you spend, the more money you place, you get a lower average. Let's say you get 10%. That's $10 million. Every political candidate that's running in the state of Florida, and so all the state rivals and national, they may have that kind of money. Mm-hmm. I mean, Wayne could call the TV station and say, I want to buy ads. If he's doing $100 million buy, that's $10 million. Now, why the black candidates can't do it? Why Kamala ain't saying like, hey, whatever the percentage of black people contribution is, I want it all to go back to the black community.
Right.
I mean, what's wrong with that? They ain't saying I want all the money to go to black. If you just spend the money in black people contribute with black business, it'll be a whole new day.
Right.
That's why I say I don't base my black. I mean, my votes on who's black, who's white, and all that, because that's some fools black. Come on, man. Who you think sending out? You got black police chiefs sending these Klansmen out to beat up and show black people. Come on, man. Who you talking to?
And that's the reason why I followed you. I started following you since I was 18 years old. I'm 54. I just turned 54 Thursday, and that's why I started following you, Mr. Gantt, because you always you awakened me at the age of 18 just by what you were talking about and you were saying the same thing 30 years ago about black candidates not spending with black media, and I started looking at things totally different by just reading your columns, and it started opening my eyes about a lot of the people that look like us.
Well, I appreciate that, and I thank you, but I don't want to disparage black candidates.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't deal with it. I mean, if you want to hire Amy or Becky or whatever y'all call them, Bruce, if you want to hire them, that's fine. But don't come to me telling me that you're a great black hero.
Right.
Don't come to me. Just say like, hey, I take money from black people and give it to white people. And if the black people in Deerfield like that, good for them. I ain't mad at them. Yeah. But I'm not doing it. If you notice, Wayne and Daryl, I know Rodney and Gainesville. I know everybody. I know all these politicians. But you don't see me running to them begging. You want to win? Call Lucius. If you don't, if you think Amy and Becky can put you in office, then go for it. But Amy and Becky are going to control you. They don't control you. Lucius, ain't who's the black political consultant that handled the campaign for James Harold Thompson? He's a speaker. For Herb Morgan, who's appropriation chairman, or for Mallory Horn, who's a speaker and a Senate president, for who handled all that, who worked with Bob Graham, who worked with James Redford down there in Miami, Dade County, who worked with all these people, who worked with Arthur Teal, who worked with all those people. Lucius. And then Lucius was writing the Gantt report at that time.
Right.
They don't care if you write the Gantt report. They want to know, can you deliver votes? And obviously I can. But I ain't begging nobody.
Right.
I don't care if they don't hire me or not. They can't stop me from paying my bills.
Right.
But I don't see any problem with the black candidates in the state of Florida or anywhere in the country or anywhere in the world from saying that the money we collect from black people that support us we're going to put that money back into the black community. They won't do it. Why won't Kamala do it? Why won't the rest of them up there that you love do it? Why won't Frederica do it? Why won't LC do it? Why? I love these guys. LC was in my corner for a long time. But what they're doing, they all got white consultants. And you mean to tell me you got a school of journalism at the University of Florida, your school of communications at FSU, no black graduate from the University of Florida, Florida Memorial, or any of these other places, Miami-Dade Junior College, can't place an ad to make some of that money? Just can't, if you just place the ads in, if you did the sign for one of those candidates, and you can do the sign, you can do a brochure, you can do brochures for yourself, you can do a brochure or a sign, you're a millionaire. So don't tell me nothing about politicians. I don't care nothing about them. I help them. I work them. They pay me, I help them. I don't care what party you is, because I work for the money. I don't work for a political party. But I'm an independent, if you want to know. I ain't never been a Democrat or a Republican in life. And I've only missed one election because I had to be validated senator. But I work for any of them. And the Republicans will hire anybody that can help them. The Democrats will only hire you if you're a Democrat that can be controlled. I'll hire you, Wayne, but you got to do what we say. You got to stay away from Darryl. You got to stay away from Lucius. You got to stay away from Terry. You got to stay away from everybody. Everybody gonna tell the truth about us. You got to stay away from them, and then we'll get you a job.
Like the Hillary Clinton campaign when the Podesta emails came out, where they were told not to talk about Black Lives Matter, or answer any questions about Black Lives Matter.
So I just want us to learn the game. I know the political game. Learn the game and work within the game to get what you want for your people. Now, let me tell you something about our world and campaign. I don't do no volunteer work. The Democratic Party said, well, we're looking for volunteers to work Deerfield Beach. We want you to call, text to your neighbors and all that. Nah. If you're paying the white man, you got to pay Lucius. And if you hire all world, everybody that works for Lucius gets paid. Everybody work for the white companies gets paid. Come on, who you talking to, man? Right. What a white company with a man making $1 million and everybody else volunteers. It ain't happening in Hollywood. It only happens in the black community.
Right.
It only happens, if you call the Democratic Party right now, they're going to say, Wayne, we want you to volunteer. They ain't going to say, hey, Wayne, we're going to take a bid from you. We're going to put up the bid. We're going to do some black media. We want to come in this bid. They going to tell you, like, hey, you volunteer. Mm-hmm. And I ain't with that. Not in a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Right.
Who you talking to, man? Don't tell me to volunteer. You paying everybody else. If you pay the Gainesville Sun, or if you pay the Fort Lauderdale, or whatever it is, send them, you got to pay me.
Right.
If you're gonna tell the TV station to volunteer to run all the TV ads, then I'll volunteer. But if you're paying the TV station, you got to pay me. There's black people that want a job, fellas, that would say, well, I'll bring you to my church if you give me a job. You got a minimum wage job. You ain't got you ain't head of treasury. You ain't appointed to the Federal Reserve and all that kind of stuff, all that money flowing. They gonna give you a job in housing or something like that, a real low level where you can't spend no money. And so that's why I say we gotta work together. And I want to teach the young people and how does money thing work. How to get in that big money game. Where you can start dealing with millions and billions. That's the best thing Barack Obama did. And I'm no fan of Barack Obama. But Barack Obama told people around the world, if a black man can be president, he can work on these $1 billion deals. Because that door wasn't open until Barack Obama got it. Mm-hmm. And so all these people that Trump telling you to hate, they doing business with black people.
Right.
China, Europe, Asia, Indonesia, Africa. They all doing business with black people.
Mm-hmm.
I got clients from South Africa, from Australia, from Laos, from all these different places that I don't put it in the Gantt report and I don't tell nobody about it. But I'm saying those doors are open for young people that wanna. Well, man, like I say, Patrick Mahomes, $100 million for 10 years or whatever it is, he'll never see all of it, and it ain't no money. Once you take out, once Sam take out taxes, once you pay your trainer, once you pay your chef, once you pay your pool boy, once you pay your car note, all that, you ain't got no $100 million ain't nothing. If you want to know about making money, Aramco or Saudi Arabia make $1 billion a day. Oh, it took over 50, 60 years to make $1 billion. They make $1 billion a day. You can get in that game. They don't mind. Come on, Wayne. Come on, Dad.
Right.
But they don't want you to know that. Biden don't want you to know. Trump don't want you to know. Kamala don't want you to know. Pence don't want you to know. Nobody wants you to know that. They want you, when they say make America great again, they talking about make America, make them niggas in their place. Excuse my language. This is a family show. But make them stay in their place. That's what make America great. You ain't saying like, oh man,
Yeah.
You ain't that $100 million contract. He can call the radio station.
Mm-hmm.
he can call the Gator show, whatever it is he could add. But you want to add? Wayne can call. They ain't gonna never say that. They gonna say, well, give him a job. Give one of them minimum wage jobs, Dad.
Right.
But we can work together. I'm having fun, but we can work together. And I think people 54 and younger than 54 can learn something from the elders.
Right.
If you old, that's the way we learn in our old culture from Africa. They was the most respected people, the people who had done it before. They want to tell you how to do it. But as a journalist who's been a practicing journalist, a paid journalist, I ain't talking about somebody writing essays and all that, who's been paid for 40 years, you mean to tell me can't no young journalist learn from me? Come on, man.
I'm quite sure they can learn a lot from you.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Mr. Gantt, Mr. Gantt, you before I have one last question. This is Daryl Adams. I have one last question for you. You've written a couple of books, and one of them is Beast 2, Dead Man Writing. Where could the people, if they want to buy your book, where could they buy your book from?
Anywhere fine books are sold. They can buy Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Amazon, eBay, any of that stuff. They can buy that, but I'm glad you brought that up because I want the people on your show to know that my next book is already written. I'm just waiting to release it. I hope they have it out by Black History and all that in 2021. But the name of the new book is called The Light is the Truth. And it comes from the late, great Imam Muhammad Sadiq. Gave me that name because that's what Lucius means. The light. But if you don't know that, you don't know what the book means. But the name of the book is The Light is the Truth. And that's the final in the Gantt Report series. It's been 3 books. The first book was called I Talked About the Beast. The second one is Beast 2. This one is Beast 3. But that'll be explained. But it'll be called The Light is the Truth. And the economic stuff that I talked to you about early on the show,
right,
is still a lot of more detail. I can't really put it in the Gantt report that's sent everywhere around the world because they'll kill me if they knew I was telling black people that you can make 100% interest when they only think that you put some money in Bank of America and get 1%. Well, Bank of America only pays 0.3%. they don't even pay you 1%. Then they pay the white folks 100%. They're paying you 0.3%, and you happy. And your political leaders ain't telling you what they're doing. It's better to have banking changes than police changes. The police gonna beat you anyway. They've been beating you since for 400 years. What makes you think like, you vote against Trump, they'll stop beating you? Crazy. Get pulled over today and see what happens. They're gonna beat you like a snap at the DCC thing and drumline. so just get some money. We can get it. We can build up some gated communities. We can have the top security. We can have all that. We can keep police out of it. You got to go back to go forward. When I say back, I ain't talking about back to before integration. I'm talking about back after. That's the kind of relationship we want because they got all the resources. They got the rare earth minerals. They got the gold. They got the diamonds. They got the coffee. They got the uranium, the plutonium. They got all that. Africa got more resources than any other continent on earth. And why can't Black African Americans start investing money in themselves in Africa? I ain't saying you give your money to Africans. I'm saying that if you go over there and buy 3,000 or 4,000 acres of land, then if you want to build a shape processing facility, Africa got all the shape plant for shape butter and all that. Why are the processing plant? Why are the people making all the money in Holland, Germany, and everywhere like that? Because the Black people ain't really put up a class A shape processing facility. But instead of shipping the shape nut and the shape plant all the way to Holland, why don't we ship them shape butter? We don't need them to make shape butter. If Americans if they went with my plans, any of these rappers that put up $10 million that never leave their bank, if they went in my plan, then they get all these contracts, architectural contracts, engineering contracts, and all this kind of stuff. Come on, man, you make your own job. But they don't. Y'all keep calling keep Claude Anderson, Umar Johnson, and all the people y'all love. Keep getting them to come and speak to you, and you're gonna still be broke. They gonna get paid $10, $20 grand to come speak to you. And you still gonna be broke. Carl Downs can't put 10 million. He ain't got it. I don't think Umar got it. I don't think Boyd Watkins got it. You bet, and all them kind of people. They ain't got a clue. Boyd Watkins telling you to buy stock. Stock market crash, man. You put all your money in the stock market, you might lose all of it. But if you're buying gold mines and diamond mines and all that kind of stuff, it's gonna be a little bit harder for you to lose. But anyway,
I got one final question, and then we're gonna close you out because we got another interview, Mr. Gantt.
Okay, all right, let's go.
Okay, the final question, and then I'll close you out. What do you think about reparations for foundational Black Americans?
Well, I don't have any problem with the reparations movement. We need it. Everybody else get it. The Chinese got it, when they were incarcerated. The Indians got reservations. Now they got casinos and all that. The Black people deserve it more than everybody else because we built America. But I don't have any faith in the people you asking for reparations from. I mean, I just don't. I just think I think we could do a lot better. We repair ourselves instead of asking government to give us reparations. They give you 300 grand or 3 million or whatever they're talking about. They all gonna go out and buy rims. They all gonna go get a weed. They all gonna go get some lashes. They all go buy some red bottom shoes. And all that. But, and that's what that's what they want to do. We all date women with weed. But I'm not gonna speak against it, but that ain't what I'm doing. The money that they want to put up $1 trillion for reparations in 10 years. Put it up yourself. You can make it yourself if you know what you're doing.
Okay.
You gotta go. Remember this: to go forward, you gotta go back. And nobody gonna tell you that for me. But they want you to go where the white man tell you to go. I ain't gonna do that either. And some of my best friends are white. Don't think I'm a racist. But I went to a white school, so I got plenty of black. White high school, a couple of years, so I got plenty of white. They love me, and they travel with me. They go to Africa with me, man. They play golf with me. They do all that. So, but they know I am. It was the same way. I'm gonna end this real quick because I know you got to go. If people hated me in Florida, they would go to the people in power, and they'll say, "We should take white. We should talk about them, call them devils and beasts and all this kind of stuff." And the white people would say, "We know Lucius. We've been knowing him. We've known Lucius longer than we've known you. We know how Lucius is. We don't hire Lucius to compliment us. We hire Lucius to do a job that we want him to do." And that's what I want to do. On the final note, that's what I want young people. You can be strong. You can be brave. You can stand up. You can speak out. But you've got to be good. You got to be able to generate revenue on your own. You can't be in debt. You can't be indebted. You can't be any of that. You can't be controlled. You gotta, get some knowledge and some wisdom and some strength and some courage, and then we can make it on our own. But I want to thank you all for having me on. And call me anytime. Anytime you get tired of listening to all that other stuff, and you want to hear the true holler.
No, we're gonna have you back on, and I want to thank you for coming on our show, Mr. Gantt. Mr. Gantt is the author of I Talked About the Beast 2, Dead Man Writing, and his new book will be coming out here that is called The Light of the Truth. The Light is the Truth. And Mr. Gantt is the voice of the voiceless. Mr. Gantt, the Gantt Report is the #1 reading in Florida prisons. And also, I want to say this, Mr. Gantt was on Capitol Hill and doing the on-the-ground reporting before all the people that we love right now that we see on TV, the Don Lemons, the Craig Melvins, the April Ryans. He was there first. And I thank him for being a pioneer and for inspiring me to be able to speak my mind and say exactly what I want to say. Here's one of Mr. Gantt's books here that I have right here, The Beast 2, Dead Man Writing. And again, there you have it, Mr. Lucius Gantt. I appreciate you coming on the Adams Brothers podcast, and we definitely will have you back here on the future. And I want to hope you have a very good weekend, and I wish you nothing but good health and well-being, and God bless you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming on, Mr. Gantt. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Have a good weekend.
Yes, sir.
Yes.